Good morning, and happy Thursday and getting it done with gratitude. We're your co hosts, Karen and Shelly Ann, and we are absolutely happy to be here. Now, I'm a little tired this morning, guys. Listen, it's been a long night, but you know what? Last week we had this amazing topic where we talked about time and how we all have the same 24 hours in a day and how we are going to manage this time so much better so that we can be more productive and so that it can also enhance the gratitude applications in our life. So today we thought we were going to take that a little step further. We want to actually talk with you, not we want to, we are talking with you today about technology. Now, if you're like me, when I hear the word technology, I start to run, usually in the opposite direction. I just got this big wall that comes up and says, oh no, you're out of your element, you're this, you're that. And I really had to start to really bank that down. So we're really going to talk about technology, but not just technology with apps and stuff, how you can use that to minimize overwhelm. Because in all of this, we really want us to not be overwhelmed so that we can focus on the things we want to get done, express our gratitude for them by saying it loud, saying it right, saying it always, and really just see the transformation that doing these simple things on a consistent basis, how they make a huge difference in our lives. So in order for us to get right into that, and because there are always new people joining us, let's introduce ourselves. So I'm Karen Williams Thompson. I'm a life strategist and a personal growth coach. And I help women say yes. I help women give themselves permission to have the dreams that they've wanted, to live the lives that they've been thinking now for years, to take those goals that they've had on the shelf and really just put them into play and really make everything a reality. And we do that by working together to really demystify the blocks that are keeping you stuck where you are. And the reason we do that is because when you understand how you can manage that, it just opens up the pathway for you to step into your greatness or to step into more of your greatness. And once we've done that, we then create a strategic plan that allows you to successfully accomplish all the goals and celebrate those milestones so that you can live and have the successful life that you have dreamed of. And I tell you it every week. Every Thursday, I get to show up here and do this with my awesome friend, Shelly. Introduce yourself.
Hi, good morning, Karen, and good morning to our listeners. And I always have to say, pause, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. I love saying that. I got that from the Truman Show. It is wonderful being here to talk about gratitude. 'Cause that's my thing. Gratitude guide and habit coach here. And what I get to do is to work with clients to help them while they're pursuing their goals, while they're going after all their dreams and everything, to realize that they can do that with joy. It's not all about burning the candle at both ends, and it's not about pushing it until you're exhausted. You can actually pursue your goals with joy. And you can do that through implementing what I call the gratitude strategy. So I work with my clients to help them clarify their ideas. So we work with saying it right. So we're looking at the language and the self-talk that we have and making it positive and gratitude filled. Then we look at saying it loud, which is making the gratitude tangible by actively practicing it. And then we look at saying it always, which is where we create that daily habit of gratitude, usually by starting with just 5 minutes a day of writing down gratitudes. And then once we get that habit established, it paves the way for creating the discipline that we need to implement the other habits that help us get to where we need to be. Because something happens when we hit 40. I know people say life begins at 40, but sometimes it feels like the stress begins at 40 because that's the time when we kind of wake up and think, what have I been doing with my life? Am I where I want to be? Am I where I should be? And we get into the coulda, woulda, shouldas. and we distress ourselves, and sometimes, we want to add more because we think that's how to solve that issue, by adding more tasks, by doing more. So sometimes we need to work, what we call working smarter, but also we need to work grateful so that we can really get things done. And when it comes to working smarter and working grateful, there is nothing better than adopting technology to help us get to where we want to be. And I think, just as what Karen said, it's not necessarily about, you know, like being tech savvy. It's really not about being tech savvy. It's just about having a mindset toward technology, that technology is there to help us. And there are tools upon tools upon tools that we can adopt. We don't have to adopt all. We just need the ones that could help us deal with our overwhelm. And
Mhm.
there's a saying, anything you ask for, there's an app for that.
I believe. I absolutely believe that. There has to be an app about now for every single thing. And
Yeah,
as you were talking, I was thinking, even with the use of technology, I think one of them, and for me personally, one of the most important things for me is being organized and having my task, sorted so that I know this is what I'm going to do. These are the ones that are priority. No, and they are, like you said, there's an app for everything, and they are actually apps and softwares that help you to organize tasks. You can do things like getting simple reminders. That's one that works really, really well for me, because sometimes, because I am doing so many different things, having something that reminders, a little buzz goes off and I check the phone and say, oh yeah, you're going to be doing this tomorrow, and it just
yeah.
brings it right back to the top of your mind. And in that moment, I'm really grateful for that app. And that, it's a simple thing. I didn't think about it necessarily like this before I really made gratitude a part of my life. But you really are grateful for the reminder, because sometimes what's coming the next day or the next hour or the next couple of hours is something that was truly very important to you. And you are really grateful that you
Hmm.
did not miss it, or that you then were scrambling and rushing because you got caught up and time
Yeah.
got away. And so for me, time management but using it to organize your task, that is something that is really, really, I think, very important, because we can get caught up in doing many things, but are we doing the things that are going to give us the desired result? So I often ask clients, are the actions you are taking leading you towards the goal that you have identified that you
Hmm.
want to achieve? Are the goals that you have identified taking you in the direction of the dream that you say, this is the life, this is how I want it to be? So
Yeah.
when we step back and ask, are these things taking us in the direction that we want to go? Then I think that that is really something that, it really just gives you that clarity, that space,
Hmm.
that awareness. That's the word I was feeling for. That awareness to really just step into what is really there for you to step into. So I'm going to do a little something about this extra sunlight.
Yeah, sometimes, when we think of technology, sometimes we think of, like the AI tools and so on. But if you really look at it, technology has to deal with anything that is outside of you, any tool, so that using a pen and paper is low tech, but it's still technology because it is created outside of you as a tool to enhance what you're doing. And while you were saying that, I was thinking about all the different tools and my own attitude toward technology. I am not averse to tech in general, but when it came to AI in particular, there was something in me that said, no, I don't want to use that. And, while, lots of my colleagues and friends, they were um, adopting, using ChatGPT, for example, and all these other tools, being a writer and an editor, and I thought, even Grammarly, I tell myself, nope, 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 not doing that. This is wrong. I don't know, like there was just a part of my head that thought, you know, like it's wrong to use the technology. And after a while, I started recognizing, and it occurred to me, I'm using a computer, I'm using Microsoft Word, I'm using, Google Docs, whatever app that I'm using that because it's convenient and it's useful and it's a tool. Why am I blocking myself from the opportunity to use other tools that could help and minimize and make things easier for me? And so I I started using ChatGPT quite reluctantly, absolutely quite reluctantly. But now it's like, I tell I tell my kids anytime they ask me something and I'm not too sure, I tell them, okay, we'll ask our friend Google, and then we will check her big sister ChatGPT, and then we will get, the information that we need.
Isn't that amazing? And the thing is that for someone like me who used to really run from technology, it has really shown you that one, it was all starts with the mind. So it's all a mindset shift. And that's where everything starts, It's like how we talk to ourselves, the words we use to ourselves, everything starts in our mind. And it was the same thing for technology. And the thing is, we had these simple things that we were doing all along, we weren't really thinking about them as technology.
Hmm.
For
Yeah.
example, communicating. We use WhatsApp, we use email, we use other instant messaging and video platforms to really just communicate. And all that is really embracing technology. But we don't
Yeah.
think about it like that. We tend to think about technology, as the software and the hardware stuff. And oh my goodness, I used to have some all sorts of nightmares. Y'all don't even want me to tell y'all any of them. That's the truth. But when, when we think about when we think about communication, and when you get to communicate effectively,
Hmm.
whether it is via email, whether it is face to face, you are able then to go on to achieve the things that you want to achieve. Having clear communication means that you can understand and you can also be understood. It allows you, though, to reach out to people. Without technology, think about it. There's so many people now that we are in touch with daily who are in different parts of the world. I
Hmm.
can, through technology, I can have a conversation with friends in Portugal, with friends in Australia.
Oh, just this program, because, we're in different countries. This whole
Exactly.
thing is based on the technology, and we are streaming it through to Karen's platforms, my platforms, YouTube, so that, and the videos are being recorded and archived, so that, those, if you missed any episodes, you can go to YouTube and find all the episodes there and check through.
Mhm.
And so all of this technology is allowing just even this program.
Yes. And you may say, so what does that really have to do with gratitude? But really it has a lot to do with gratitude because it allows us to be appreciative of what we do have. And
Hmm.
if you've if you've been one of our regular followers, you'll know that that's something that we speak about all the time. It's about being present and being appreciative of what you do have and how that is simplifying life for you. Because when you can express gratitude and when you can appreciate where you are in the present, it allows you to look ahead. So we're not
Hmm.
looking back. It allows you to look ahead and to focus on where you are going. And if you are looking ahead and you're focusing on where you're going and you're not caught up then in the overwhelm. So
Yeah.
little things like using the technology to enhance communication, like using it to collaborate with other persons. As Shelley just said, this is exactly what we are doing now. And we don't then have to get off and go and record it and do this and do that. Technology has made it so simple for us that we can show up. We've set everything up and it's then going to happen. And we get to share that with all
Mhm.
of you.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
technology is really about it also allows us to access information, and
Mhm.
use other resources. I mean, before we came on, Shelley shared this. Let me see, I wrote it down. Goblin dot tools. I had never heard of that. So this is one for me to go now and tinker around with and
Yeah. So
explore.
let me put the link up. I can share it because it's one that a friend of mine shared with me. It's not I didn't discover it on my own, so I do have to say that. So this is the compiler section of it, but if you check the goblin.tools, it's this amazing AI. Now, of course, it's not the only one. I do recognize it's not the only one, but it is this amazing AI tool that allows you to, um, I guess, manage your tasks more effectively. So
Mm,
this one, the compiler, you can do, we talk about doing a brain dump, just, making a long chatter about everything that you want to accomplish. You can just do that brainstorm sort of brain dump into this. And what it does is that it breaks it down into tasks for
okay.
you. And then there's another section of it that actually, you can take the one task and plug it in, and then it can break down that bigger task into smaller, step by step tasks. Because one of the things that happens that creates overwhelm quite a lot is that we categorize projects that have multiple steps and multiple levels. We categorize them as tasks. So on our list, we might have 5 items and it looks like a small list because it's only 5 items. But when we look at each item in and of itself might have several other tasks attached to it. And I think we've spoken about this before, but we haven't really kind of delved into it because when we're thinking about let's say you have a task, clean the kitchen. That's your chore for the day. Clean the kitchen, one of the things that you want to get done. So you might have clean the kitchen, um, you know, send off an email and different things. And so when you go to clean the kitchen now and you look at what has to be done to clean the kitchen is a project. Why? Because you might have to wash the dishes, clean the counter, pack away certain things, sweep, mop, and you notice the tasks are adding up, right? And sometimes even something as what we consider simple as mopping, that in and of itself, we have things to do with that. We have to get the mop bucket, we have to get the mop, fill it up with some water, put in whatever chemical we are mopping with, disinfectant, whatever, and then we have to do the first round and then the second round. So each thing that we might consider a task might be a mini project in and of itself. And without recognizing that, we can get into some issues. This AI program is one of the tools that you can use to help you recognize and break down the tasks and the projects into the more manageable, actionable tasks so that you can see and have an idea of how long it might take you or what is needed. And perhaps you have something to do that you don't know where to begin. Plug it
Mm.
in and it'll break it down, and then you can have a better idea of where to begin.
Yes. And I don't think we need to be like overly concerned that these things will replace us, because for me personally, I think the human element is always like the very, very best thing. So while you can have technology to support you, while you can have technology to make things simpler, like for us in business, having technology that can automate certain tasks frees our time so that we can do something else. So that allows us then to really focus on the things that are going to drive the business, because we still have the other repetitive tasks being taken care of. So that is
Mhm.
also another perspective to look at it. But while you were talking just now and going through the scenario with the kitchen, I was thinking, you get up and you do all of these things, but you never really say, all right, today is house day, and you don't think about the myriad of tasks that are involved in just the house day. So
Yeah.
that was really very relevant. You put everything under one blanket, but then you have to break it down into tasks. But there's a good thing in that, and this is something that I do. When we look, this is the goal. So that's the big goal. We're going there. But when we break it down, you're able to see very clearly all that is really required to accomplish this one task. And clarity is so very important, because that's going to help you
Mhm.
now prioritize the task. Because maybe the whole kitchen is not getting done today because there are other things that need your attention as well. So,
Mhm.
in that, you are able to prioritize which of these tasks in taking on the kitchen are the most important tasks today that I really need to get done. So, identifying your tasks and putting them all out there
Yeah.
really helps you to have that clarity. And then having something like what you were describing with Goblin dot tools, that sounds so amazing, because you can take 15 minutes and put your request in, get some support like that, and in there now, whew, that's a whole lot of ease now, because
Yeah.
you know what you're doing, you know when you're doing it, you know why you're doing it. You kind of
Mhm.
have them all prioritized, and it makes you able to appreciate the tools and the resources that you have. And so having the gratitude and being able to express the gratitude for the availability of those
Mhm.
tools,
Mhm.
all of that. And that's how I started to really switch my perspective on technology, rather than running from it all the time. Sometimes I still do a little run, but rather than running all the time, what I have done now is actually shifted to say, I'm going to embrace this. Let me find
Yeah.
the way that this is going to help me, and use that and keep learning, because it's all about learning, and that's what technology does for us too. It
Yep.
just teaches us something all the time. I mean, look, I learned something new this morning. I hope you're learning several things from us this morning.
Yeah, and when it comes to the embracing the technology, I think, and where the gratitude comes in, it is one of the things that I list ever so often on my gratitude list every morning when I do it. And you said 15 minutes for the Goblin tool. Honestly, this is AI. If it takes you 2 minutes to type in the task, it'll take the AI like 30 seconds to spit out the rest, the task breakdown. It happens so quickly, so it is actually going to reduce the time that you spend on these things as well, because I could sit down and brainstorm and think and write down, break down the kitchen task into something else, but I could just type it into this, and in less than 5 minutes, in less than a minute, I get a list of things, and then I could use my 15 minutes to do the prioritization and make my selection. So it empowers me as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when you spoke about, the gratitude for these things, what happens is that I like, for sometimes, when I list three things that I'm grateful for every morning, I would write down, I'm grateful for StreamYard, for, the opportunity to stream to multiple platforms. I'm grateful for YouTube to be able to share these videos. And so just recognizing the value in the tools and pausing to share an experience and to really feel the gratitude for it, it helps us be more open to new tools
Mm,
because we recognize that these are tools. And so with me and ChatGPT, I was reluctant, but then I thought, hey, I am grateful for these opportunities to try out new things that can help me. So I'm going to try it out. And
mm-hmm.
now that I'm using it, there are glitches, there are issues. I mean, when it comes to tech, you could complain, you know, every minute of every day and still have something new to complain about the next day too. So there are going to be issues, and being able to sit and be grateful for the opportunity, it's going to help us also manage through the issues that come up. Because look at this week, Instagram and Facebook was down for a bit, and you get, when that happens, there's just uproar and people are complaining, and I thought to myself, huh, well, I was grateful that I came back quickly, one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also grateful that I had embraced other technology as well, and not
Yeah.
just, focused on those things, because I have my website, I have the YouTube. And what happened to me, actually, I was in the middle of a live when it went down, and I was
You
live on
should.
Facebook when it went down. And what happened was that even though it went down, I was able to continue the live because I was streaming to both YouTube and Facebook. And
Mm,
so for the viewers who knew, and I tell them often, so a few of them remembered, and when they realized they couldn't access it on Facebook, they just hopped over to YouTube and accessed it there, and the live continued.
mm,
And then with the technology, the live was recorded so that when Facebook came back up, the video was there for those who weren't able to go across to YouTube. They could now go back to Facebook after the time and look at the recording of the presentation and not necessarily miss the presentation because of the glitch that happened while it was happening. And so in terms of
excuse me.
being grateful and working with technology, we have multiple levels of gratitude, because we have the gratitude for the opportunity, the gratitude for the creators who thought about creating it, gratitude for how it has impacted us, and gratitude for when things go down, they're fixed. When glitches happen, we can shift to something else. And
Yeah,
so there's so much to be grateful for. And that allows us to come to technology with a more positive mindset, being able to use it. And there's something that you said earlier that I want to mention quickly before we wrap up, because we're heading into that time. Um you mentioned, communication,
mm-hmm.
and how technology helps us communicate with others and so on. Technology helps us communicate with ourselves as well, because, the way you mentioned about getting reminders, and we could use this task tool that we just shared, the Goblin Dot tools, to break things down. We could, reminders of tasks, reminders of who we are, messages. We could listen to music on YouTube and different, forms of tech. And so it is all around something that helps us manage our tasks, manage ourselves, and therefore manage our time, in addition to supporting mindset growth and development.
Definitely. And I think that what it really brought home for me, just having this conversation, is just all of the benefits of having
Yeah.
the technology, and about being appreciative of it, because it does allow you to use time better. And you know, we talked so much about time last week, and it was such an awesome session. But using your time to get the best out of it, whether that's making sure that you have, you know, mental wellness time taken care of, that you make sure that you're having that balance in your life between work and play and family and everything else, you know, it all comes down to how we think and how we manage our time. And technology has come along and has just slid in there so smoothly to be a tool that we can use to really enhance the quality of our lives. And that is something to be so appreciative of, and to just use
Mhm.
it to that advantage, because at the end of the day, we all want to be saying yes to living the lives that we have
Yeah,
dreamed of and that we want for ourselves. And if working with tools and being able to manage our time better helps us to do that, then why wouldn't we? So I think,
yeah,
you know, it just shows you that there's no limit to what we can be grateful for. There's
yeah.
absolutely
Absolutely none.
no limit. And that's why it is just the secret sauce to making the ultimate difference in your life.
Yeah.
Getting it done with gratitude.
Absolutely, getting it done with gratitude. So, we hope this episode has been helpful, and certainly the tool is there. If you want to talk more about what other tools there are available for managing your time, managing your tasks, you can reach out to either one of us. You can find Karen and I on LinkedIn. We're also on Facebook, on Instagram. You can message us at any time so that we can help you really get it done with gratitude. So have a wonderful rest of the day today, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye.